is Kitty, like a cat, and this is a video about cross stitch. Welcome to my Flosstube channel. Today you can see my kitchen because it is daylight savings and the sun has already gone down even though it's like 2:30. And I haven't attempted like anything other than natural lighting in previous videos because it was, spring through summer, but I knew once we got into winter it would probably be a problem because I usually film after my partner goes to work on the weekends and he works second shift. But I do have a ring light. He has it. He's a performer. And I attempted to use it and the glare on my glasses was comical. It was just, you couldn't see my face at all, and I did feel like that was distracting even if you're not looking at the screen the whole time. So I am using my stitching light as a ring light basically. Other than that, today we have regular Flosstube stuff, whips, collection development, and I do have a couple dolls. It's been a little while since I had any dolls to show, but I have gotten a few over the last month. So the first thing I want to share is a really big finish. This was my focus to finish piece for this year. I wanted to get it done by the end of the year. I had sort of a soft goal for September. I think just because this pattern reminds me of the month of September, if I'm being honest. The pattern is Blackbird Fractor by Plum Street Samplers. I bought this pattern when I first started stitching paper patterns in 2020, and I found out about all of the designers that we had. Before that I was just doing like Etsy and like Clouds Factory and stuff. So this was one of the first patterns I bought when I got more into like kind of primitive and folk art styles of stitching, which is a lot of what I do now. So I've loved it from the start and it's finished. So this I started for my New Year, New Start in 2022, so January 1st. So that made it my oldest whip at the beginning of this year. I stitched it on, it's a 36 count Zweigart, and I think it's cream. It's just it's not modeled or anything. It's almost all the called for, but there's like a pinkish color in some of the flowers. It's cinnamon toast, and when I started stitching with it, it just unnerved me because it was the exact color of raw chicken breast, and I know that's just, I don't know, let's call it quirky of me. But I changed it to like just another autumnal color. It looks really good on the model. I don't know, it was just freaking me out. I couldn't deal with it, so. I stitched the birds and the candelabra with sulky black, and I did have to dip into a second spool to finish that second bird. So this is my first time ever completing a spool of sulky. And so yeah, I had a second one that I went and found, and I need to make sure to put that one back in the project I stole it from. And I've been keeping this in a 805 stitcher bag that was part of like a collab with Lindy Stitches a while ago. So now I need to find another Blackbird pattern to put in there. I'm really excited about this. And I would like to frame it. I think I'll probably have to buy a custom frame for it. But any other place that 310 showed up, or black, I just used 310. So like the fence thing is all 310. As is like these leaves and stuff. So it's just the birds and the candelabra that I did in sulky, but I just wanted them to kind of pop, and I think that worked out really well. And like the fence is still kind of delicate, which I like. There was one thing I didn't stitch. I'll take this back out for you. This little, oh, you're not even, it's like a root to the flower, I think, because there's another one on this flower, and I think it's for this flower up here, but the stem like doesn't even go down that far, so I felt like it just looked like it attached, like it went to nothing. So I left it out. Other than that, I didn't make any alterations to this one. I love it just as it is. So that is a finish. Next, I have some whips. So back in August, I started Hawk Run Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I'll pull out, when you get the pattern, so like this is what the cover looks like, but you also get like this bigger, like full print of the pattern. This is the whole thing. I'm doing a bit of an alteration. Mine's going to be a 3x3 block. So I'm eliminating the middle rectangle and then this one, and rearranging them a little bit. You'll kind of just see that as it progresses. Explaining it would probably make no sense. So, but that I did start in August. This is on a, it's one of the Kitten Stitcher fabrics. I think it's Wabi Sabi. So there's Wabi Sabi and Graham Cracker. Those are two different dyers. It's Teresa Vanette's sons. They both dye fabrics, and I think this was Wabi Sabi, but I'm not sure. Not the color, the dyer. I don't know what the color is. I bought it at my, like, in person at my LNS. Like, usually if I don't know what the color of something is, I can go find my receipt in my, like, email, but I got no clue. I'm sorry. So last month, I showed you that I had pretty much finished the first block, and now I have gotten into the second block and did some outlining of both the second block and then this one down here. So first I'll show you what I did this month. I got this tree, and I love it, and like the vultures that are sitting in there. So I'm really excited about that. There's another tree and like some headstones and stuff. Yeah, I'm obsessed. That's one of my favorite blocks. This one. I love that other tree too. So freaky. The other day I was driving around because I was thinking about this tree and how like it's like little face. It's like the knots in the tree look like a little face. And I was driving around and I drove past a tree in somebody's yard that had those, and it freaked me out because I was thinking about, like, it's alive, it's gonna get you. Okay, so that's what I did in October. And then how I started this, I did this outline down here. I'm in mine, this guy right here is going down there, so I'm gonna start that in November. So I'm just gonna, I like having a couple things going so that if I pick this up and I don't feel like stitching a spooky tree, I can stitch a pumpkin and vice versa. And I'll just keep doing that as I please. So, this is being worked in the DMC, which the model is also stitched in DMC. So that's the called for. I have put, I think this is probably about 2/3 of the colors on floss drops. There are a lot of colors. How many do I have left? Hold on. Yeah, it's still kind of a lot. But what I've been doing is every time I like get to a new block, I figure out what colors I haven't yet put on floss drops that block needs. So, because sitting around and doing all of them, I think I was never going to start it if I had to do that. This is in a bag I got. It's like, I have it in this bag because it's like really big. I got this in a box forever ago. But it holds a lot, and there's a lot of floss and fabric. Okay. So that one is a whip and plans. This next one is in a vintage owl lady bag. And I adore this bag. I love the zipper pull. on the inside. This is another Plum Street. It's Salem Sisters. This Salem Sisters is a series, but this was the first one that came out. My copy is pretty old. It has the photograph on it. This one came out in 2006. You can't see that too well, but you can kind of see the composition of it. And I started this last year around Halloween, and this year I got in the crescent moon, the crow, the kitty cat, and the jack-o'-lantern. So I kind of worked on the motifs. Last year I did a lot of the words. So I will, this is on a 36 count Be-Stitch Me. It might be not another sampler. It's a little warm toned. I like it. It works really well with the colors on this, I think, because they're the main color is like a purple for the letters, and I think that it's just a soft neutral that goes well with that. It's a little peachy, almost. Okay. Oh, and I have all the called for floss, and I have here is actually more floss than is in this pattern because it's all the floss in all three of them. I just plan on stitching them in order. So when I finish one, I'll just go on to the next one. I'll probably keep it in this bag. So next we have starts, Halloween starts. It's these, I have several different small Halloween starts in this So Much to Love bag. These little slippers, witch boots. So as I kind of said, I started several like small Halloween things. I started this Mill Hill ornament. Went camping with my dad, and I started this while I was there. I think Mill Hills are really good to like work on if you're traveling, because you don't need as many accessories. I really love this spooky little guy. I like the combination of these blues for the sky and these oranges. I just think they look really good. And speaking of the blue, that is all I've gotten done so far, is some of the sky. It's hard to do, huh? Oh, you know what? That's better. So I do stitch my Mill Hills with 3 strands. That is what the kit tells you to do if you look at the instructions. And I don't have any trouble with it, I think, because it's so, like, the holes are big. They're much larger than, that's how I make a little X to start in the middle, but they're much larger than like an Ada, and I think it makes it look like I like textile, you know. I make them into little fridge ornaments, and I just really do like the look of all 3. But a lot of people do too, so do what makes your heart happy. So I haven't gotten any of the beads or anything. I've just a start on that one. So next I have Assembly Required by Ink Circles. This is my first ink circles, actually. It's not a mandala, but it is, I think, still like a very classically ink circles kind of a style where there's like all of these little pieces to it. And I saw it, and I just thought it was really funny. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So I started this on a scrap from my LNS. Like, it was just a scrap. But it's this really pretty orange, and I'm stitching it with the called for. It's this DMC, one of the DMC variegated. And I think, like, even though it's kind of tone on tone for the darker colors, I think it's looking really good. So I didn't like cut out any colors and so that you can see, like, I think it shows up pretty well. I'll also say this is supposed to be a 36, but I don't know. I feel like it's like a 38 or something. My stitches are very puffy, and I'm not used to that on a 36 with one strand, but it's not too bad to see or anything though. Then my third Halloween start, ooh, I love this one so much. This is Black and Jack by Teresa Kogut. This is another one that I've admired like ever since 2020. I've owned the pattern probably since like 2021. And I have had it kitted almost as long as that. But I just, you know, there's so many things to start and so many things to love. So I started this on a piece of 32 count Picture This Plus Cyprium. And that's one of my favorite Picture This Plus colors. It's coppery with a little bit of green. And it's my two favorite colors. So I kind of have it on a larger cut because I like the fabric so much that I think I might finish it with like more fabric showing than I normally would. I mean, it's not a large cut, but for this pattern's pretty small. Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm doing this with one strand. I hope that's kind of focusing. Even though it's a 32 count, I think the one strand's looking really good. This is a tight 32 count. I usually, if I'm stitching with Picture This Plus, it's 1 on 36, but I do have a few cuts of 32, and the my Over the Garden Wall one that I fully finished a few months ago was on this is an offcut of that piece, and I did that one in 2 strands, and I just remember it kind of being a pain, so I decided to try out one strand, and I think it looks great. I think he looks so funny. Look at his little face. Yeah, I wanted to get his face in because I think that's like the best part. His face and the pumpkin's face. So very excited. Happy with that. And overall, you know, this year I've been starting a lot of things and not focusing on like trying to get things finished, just focusing on like getting my whip count up so that I can stitch a variety of things without having to worry about starting things. And I think that it's been going really well, but I'm also kind of really excited that I'm like coming towards the end of this year so that next year I can reap the benefits and work on things that have already been started. And so, you know, maybe I'll do another one of these start years at some point, but I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun actually like working on some of these things to completion. Like there's some things that I definitely like. Okay, I have this piece that I started, you know, in like February this year, and I definitely would have had this finished by now. It just sits here because I like it so much. I have it set up next to my stitching spot, but I think so much about it. Like I'm like I would have had it finished by now if this was a normal year, but I just keep being like, well, you set a goal and you have a plan, and so I don't feel too bad about it. But I'm probably gonna definitely finish that like early next year. So that is it for whips and starts, and I have plans for November next. Okay, so I have one whip, and this actually does have to be a finish. So I need to finish the I'm doing a stitch for my sister-in-law for her Christmas gift. She was here several months ago, and said she pointed out a pattern and was like, can you stitch me a mushroom? And I was like, okay, fine. Said, yeah, this is gonna be her Christmas gift. And I started it September, I think. It's from this, okay, Crossworks by Jones Limited. Actually, no idea. I thought it was a Leisure Arts, but it's not. But it's in the similar style. So this is the only model picture that is provided. But it's these 2 rust-colored mushrooms. I finished the taller one when I started it a month or 2 ago, and so I have to finish the smaller one, and then there's like dirt and grass And then I think I am going to do some back stitching. The pattern actually doesn't have any, but I think I'm going to back stitch it to make it pop a little bit. So that'll be my focus this month, honestly. And that'll be most of what, well, once I get that done, I can focus on other things, but that'll be my focus because I want to get it done. I don't want to have to be rushing in December to get it done. I'm going to have that month to finish it, fully finish it. But I do have some starts planned. So I plan to start probably, this one's kind of a maybe because I don't have it kitted, but I think I can kit it from stash pretty easily. So I kind of want to do the crow and pumpkin one in this kit, or in this set. So this is for my boys' Crow Patrol. I do like the scarecrow. I'll probably do both of them, but I just wanted to do that one first. Second thing that I hope to start is Miss Elizabeth Perkins from Kathy Barrett. And I love her. I love her just blacked out eyes and her big skirt. And those birds. This is, yeah, it's a pretty sizable piece. How big is it? 141 by 222. So that's, oh, no, yeah, it's 222 high. So it's similar dimensions of the Blackbird Fractor I just finished, but if you flipped it. All right. And then last thing that I am hoping to start is a Sheepish Designs pattern. So this is an older pattern. I don't even know what the copyright is, but I don't think it says, but it's this house, this like house with these angels. I really like stitching little houses. And I have like in this, oh, so this is another So Much to Love project bag, and it has these little sheep on it. And in this project bag, I have a bunch of patterns that are like little houses. And when I finish one, I kind of like to start another one pretty soon. But since I haven't, so like earlier this year, I did finish one of the ones that was in here, but I haven't started this one yet. But this one is the one that I have materials for in this bag. So I am switching out a few of the colors a little bit. So I'm stitching it on this gray blue. It's Gray Magic by a 36 count by Be Stitch Me. That's the tag. Let you look at the pattern a little bit more. So I wanted the angel's wings to be bluish. So I'm, let's see. So I went to my LNS and I picked out like some random, or not random, but like colors that I wanted. So where's that? Okay. This looks purple in my stitching light, but it is an indigo blue. It's definitely blue. But so those are the kind of the colors I'm going to be working with. And here, I'll hold them against the fabric. The light's definitely making these look more jewel toned than they are. But anyhow, I'm excited about that. We are actually found out that we are moving to a place that's a little bigger than our current place at the beginning of next month, or not next month, next year. And I'm kind of trying, I would like to have like a wall of little houses. So I have a few finished and I have several patterns in this bag. So I'll probably just build that over the years while we're there. So those are my plans. We'll see what happens, but those are the plans. So it is time for collection development. We have cross stitch collection development, and then as I said, we have a few dolls. I hope my dog doesn't start barking because He thinks it's his dinner time because it's daylight savings. Oh my lord. Come here. Okay. So first I don't know why, but I just decided to order threads for a ton of projects. So I have a pretty big fabric collection, but not threads. I just order threads when I need them. But I buy fabric when I see it and I like it. But I made a large thread order off 123 Stitch, and I bought a couple of mill hills. It's actually the same mill hill, but I bought 2 of them because I want to stitch it, and I'm gonna give my brother one for in his stocking at Christmas. I taught him how to stitch a few years ago, and he likes to stitch while he's watching football. So sometimes I give him little patterns or kits. He doesn't have a big stash, so I think kits are good for people who like to stitch every once in a while, you know. Like if somebody gave me a pattern, I know I'd have plenty of stuff to stitch it with, but I don't want to give somebody like half of the present. Okay. So I got threads. Goodness. Okay. Okay. So as I said, it's a lot of threads. You don't need to see all of them. I'm just going to show you some of the patterns that I got the threads for. So one of them is Miss Elizabeth Perkins, so that I can start this one this month. Most of them have no start date, but I'll show you what else I've gotten here. So I got threads for this piece from Carriage House Samplings. It's Carolina Hanley. It's a tombstone angel. And I actually plan on just stitching the angel and the borders around the angel. And not the words. This one I have admired for a really long time. It's Cricket Collection, The Master and the Macabre. It's an Edgar Allan Poe pattern. And I just think the colors are really cool. And just the composition of, again, I like a cool house, and I love that sad Poe moon. So, and the threads for this are just lovely. There's a bunch of silken colors, which I love. Then there's a few overdyed cottons, and then just some DMC. So I love that, like a mix of like textures and colors. I got the threads for this Sprouting Lupine, Witching Hour Nature Walk. I kind of planned to start, I had planned to start this in October, but I didn't get around to it. So I now have everything I need for next time. I got threads for The Cat and the Moon by With Thy Needle and Thread. It's kind of like a little jester cat. I think he's very cute. Industry is the Best Cure for Melancholy by Not Forgotten Farm. Tomb with a View. This is a Plum Street Samplers. I love these like little ghouls. It says, "Move on, dear reader, thou treadst o'er my view, for here I am destined to lay. I've not to behold but this dirt dark and cold, 'tis to be your pleasure someday." Lovely. I like thinking about my mortality. I've got Midnight by The Primitive Hare. I love that moon. And then The Curse of the Raven by Carriage House Samplings. And Strawberry Blonde by Carriage House Samplings. I hope to start this one for my birthday next year. There's an overdyed that I like, that I think like really matches my hair color in real life, and so I'll probably change her hair to that color. although it's pretty similar to what's called for, just a little more auburn than red. And lastly, I got threads for Lady Cat. This is a Nora Corbett. I already have the bead pack for this. So, exciting stuff. Again, I don't have plans for starting these like anytime soon except for Miss Elizabeth Perkins. But now they're kitted up for whenever I feel like starting them. And as I've discussed, kitting things is kind of my least favorite part usually. So doing all of that at once, I did the work ahead of time. So other than the threads, I have some patterns. First one was an eBay find. So this was on my unicorn list for quite a while. It's a birds of a feather, which a lot of them are being reproduced by Sherry of Colorado Cross Stitcher. I don't know if she's done this one yet, but I have said this before. I'm not a fan of color charts, and she is recharting them in color. A lot of people prefer them. I do know that because I have bought one, they're much larger. They're easier to see. The birds of a feather charts tended to be pretty small. So for a lot of people, they're definitely an upgrade. But for me, they're difficult to use. So this is Fat Cat. And I think that he's delightful. He's full of candy corns and fish skeletons and a rat. And I cannot wait to stitch this. And when things have a small, like the grid is pretty small on the chart, I scan and make copies of mine so I can blow it up. So I don't mind that too much because I can alter the size of it when I make my working copy. So I don't work off of the copy that I purchase. I work off of a working copy because a lot of times I have to print it out more than once because I mess up a highlight. So so I ordered 3 patterns from Kaniki's. I think it's Kaniki's Prims and Whims. I have stitched one pattern by this person that was in the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. It was one of the fall ones a while ago. It was like 2017 or 18 or something. It's the Eye of Newt. It's in my like slideshow at the beginning of my videos. So, but that's the only pattern I've ever stitched of theirs. But I found, I'll show you the one, I saw this on Pinterest, and I will probably put up a better picture, but this is on the cover. I saw it on Pinterest, and I just like, I don't know. I've said, like, you'll probably notice I like stitching little houses and I like stitching redheads, and both are here. I think it also reminds me of Anne Shirley, Anne of Green Gables, and I've been reading the first one, the first book in that series, and it's delightful. So I kind of think of this as Green Gables. But either way, lovely pattern, lovely. So I wanted to buy that one, and there were a couple others of hers that I've seen around that I wanted to go ahead and buy. Sometimes this is one of those, she has her own website. I don't think I've really ever seen these in like a 1-2-3 Stitch storefront or something. I don't know if she distributes. I don't think she's like with Hoffman's or anything. So sometimes when there's these really small designers, it's a good idea to go ahead and snatch them up, because you never know when they're like, it's not a focus of theirs to run a business anymore or something like that. So to have this in my stash, I went ahead and got the Old Crow Inn. Really love that. It's simple, but it has, the crow, the key, the lanterns, it's got everything. And then this one, which is kind of hard to show because it's an interesting concept. The picture's really small, but it's this big fat pumpkin with a crow, But then she gives you a lot of options for, like, you can do this big piece, you can do it a little smaller. She gives you alternate motifs for that one in the corner. There's also alternate motifs for, like, this part up top if you do the whole one. So I have no idea what combination of things I'm going to stitch, but I know I'm going to stitch that big melted pumpkin. I really adore that pumpkin. And I like how she works with overdyed flosses. I really like the way that she utilizes them in her models. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So I had to take those out of the crinkly plastic. Speaking of crinkle. So then also in the same, kind of the same vein of buying things from designers to make sure that you don't run out of time to do so, I really love the designer Homespun Elegance. And I know that, you know, this designer, most of these patterns are older, but there's an Etsy storefront. I think it might be run, well, one of the people who works in my LNS told me that her daughter sometimes designs under that name now. I don't know who runs the Etsy storefront, but I'd guess it was probably one of them. But these are older, and they're the original designer. So I ordered, H is for Halloween. I have done another one of these that's really similar. It's like a little pillow, I think probably the exact same size, has a kitty cat on it with the little rat charm in its mouth, and I had an extra rat charm, and I have another cut of the fabric I used for that one, so I said, you know what, I'll just make a little set. I also got this one, Harvest Moon. It's just this little squirrel in a moon. I like it a lot. Batch of pumpkins. She uses these charms a lot. Sometimes she sells them on the Etsy. Sometimes they're like not in stock. So I do want the charms for this, but not all of them were in stock. So I'm gonna check back. Halloween. I love this one. I actually don't know what it's called. What's it called? Halloween Sampler 1. Love the kitties. I love all the kitty cats and Jacks. I got Autumn Gathering. Again, I just love her. I love her. I think all of these were autumnal. She has really good Christmas ones too. I like folksy Santas. But I love the black cats. And then Haunted Hill. I really like that. It's just a couple colors. Oh, I was like, I thought I got some charms. Okay, I found them. They're in this little pouch. So I got several of these moons. I think there's 4 of them. They came in a set of 4. And then this house, and I think I'll put that one in the Halloween. There's a spot for a button this size. Let me, hold on. There. Yeah. So I got those. And they're kind of taped to this piece of paper. And I folded it up so they won't fall out. But that's it for cross stitch collection development. As stated, I have a couple dolls. So if you want to stick around for that, I hope you will, but if not, I totally understand. And I hope you have a great day stitching or whatever your day holds for you. Okay, I have 4 dolls. It's been a while since I acquired any dolls, but you know, sometimes they pile up. So first I'll show you, this was a secondhand find. There's a store in my town that sells like, they sell used books and media, but they also sell like toys and stuff. So this is a Na 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 Surprise doll. That's the line. I really like them because they don't really make them anymore. I don't know if they're officially discontinued, but they haven't made new ones in a while. But they're cloth dolls, but they're fashion dolls. They're like posable fashion dolls, but they're not plastic. They're cloth, and they're kind of articulated. Like you can, but they don't really like sit well. They, you know, this is what happens if you try to make them sit. This one is big. The rest of the ones I have, and I think like the more common size is about like, they're about like this tall. So this one is bigger than the ones I have. I don't know this character's name, but I do know like it came with somebody had written a little note that the collection was Slumber Party. She's wearing these little pajamas with kitty cats on them. Her socks have toe beans. She's got a little like necklace with a bell on it. And these little kitty cat barrettes. So, I love her. And I'm excited to add her to the collection and set her up with I have 2 others, but only one on display, so I'll put her next to the one I have on display. I didn't need to do a lot to her hair. A lot of times when I get dolls, I have to boil wash their hair, especially to get it to lay this nicely. But all I had to do was brush it with, I use a pet hair brush because it doesn't tangle it, the like metal ones. It doesn't tangle the plastic hair, so I'm gonna put her, I have her in a box here. And then, I don't know if any of you have Ollie's where you live. It's a like buyout, like closeout store. I actually used to work at one like 10 years ago as the book department manager, but we have them here, and sometimes they have fashion dolls. Sometimes they have Monster High or something like, and they have like Barbies and whatnot sometimes. So I had not bought this doll when it was actually like available in stores. So Ollie's is buyout, so sometimes you'll see stuff that's been discontinued for a while show up there because they buy like pallets from warehouses and like discontinued stuff and whatnot, overstock. So this is a Frankie Stein from the Scaradise Island. I really like the art for this one. So Frankie in Generation 3 is non-binary, and I have liked this doll for a while because I kind of just feel like, okay, just, you know, I just, so everyone knows there's no correct way to dress non-binary, but I do feel like this doll, I feel like the person who designed this outfit for this doll took the note that this doll is non-binary and like went with it. I'm non-binary. This is what me and my friends would wear to the beach. Like, I like it. I love the bucket hat. I love the board shorts. And to me, I think this is a binder. I think it's a waterproof binder, in my opinion. I like the lightning bolts. And I like their shoes. And I love Generation 3's Frankie's prosthetic leg, like bionic leg. Came with some cute accessories. This is like a little skull cocktail thing, and a cool beach bag. I like that. And then these sunglasses, which I could not get to stay on them with the hat, unfortunately, because I do think they're cool. But I'll mess around with those and maybe put them on a different Frankie that I have. Okay, 2 more from the same collection. And I haven't yet unboxed these. I will, but I just haven't yet. This is the Fashion Pixies line. It's Fashion Pixies Brats. And I got 2 of them. These have As I said, I haven't unboxed them yet, but they have these wings, these plastic like see-through glitter wings, and obviously this one has like a floral inspired like flower outfit. And then this one is more of like a goth fairy. I love her so much. I like her big flare pants and her lipstick. I really like her earrings too. This one's box is kind of scuffed up, but again, I definitely unboxed my doll, so it's fine. I usually keep the artwork, like I'll cut it out and keep it, so that part's fine. Anyhow, so yeah, these two. Very excited. Okay. For a minute there, I didn't think this video was going to be very long, and then here we are. But thank you for joining me on my couch today. I hope you all have a wonderful month, and let me know what you're stitching, and I'll talk to you next month. Bye.